weather is not real. Do you recall?
Yes, of course.
Do you recall slicked back bun plane lady?
I honestly, okay, who would you believe? Her or this guy in this movie who's like, everyone needs to get off the plane?
I stay with my headphones on, minding my business at the airport. Quite frankly, they could be evacuating us off the plane for an actual reason, and I'd be like, oh, what? Huh? I was already half asleep over here.
Yeah.
I've already done everything in my power to make this as little of a sensory experience as possible.
Absolutely.
Somebody could be like, the tail end of the plane has blasted off, and I'm like, huh? I'm like looking up from my fucking episode of Great British Bake Off, like, huh?
Yeah, right.
On the plane.
I'm already out.
I try to be fully dissociated at the airport.
Yeah, fair enough.
I actually don't really mind flying. I'm a pretty logical person, and I do subscribe to the sort of statistical analysis of, like, planes are not objectively any scarier than cars, and I get in my car every day, and I drive my car. Somebody else who's a professional is driving this plane. So that's objectively already a step better than me driving my own car.
Yeah, I think that, unfortunately, I'm not the best with flying. I'm fine with it, but if we do hit turbulence, I am, like, white-knuckling whatever I have in my hand. And I think that was just inherited from my mom. Because logically, I know.
Yeah.
I know that this is, like, the odds are in my favor in being in this giant metal tube flying in the sky rather than me being on 93 going 85.
Right, yeah.
So.
When I'm blasting the music and driving a little too fast because it's, like, vibing with me. Yeah, when the Rico Nasty...
When you're having your Whitney moment.
Yeah, right, when it's hitting a little too good. But I generally am not afraid of planes, but I will shout this movie out. Great plane crash sequence. Very scary.
Yeah.
Very realistic plane crash sequence.
Yes, the watching someone be engulfed in flames and watching their skin crisp off. Yeah, that'll do it for you.
Yeah, sis did that. Final Destination 2000. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Swamp. It's our podcast.
It's an acronym. And it stands for Some Whack-Ass Movie Podcasting.
And I forgot my line. That's okay. And I always forget to introduce us. Hi, my name is Dara, and I'm here, as always, with my lovely co-host, Emily.
Hi, ladies.
And today we're going to be talking about Final Destination. We're doing all horror movies this month. Just sort of some bog standard, generic-ass, big horror movies. Had you ever seen this one?
No, I'd seen one of the others. One or two of the others, probably. Which I think is pretty standard. I don't know that many people have seen the very first one, but I feel like everyone has at least seen one of the sequels.
Well, these must be, like, made for TV, right? Like low-key made for TV
I don't know.
Because the way that the pacing it was kind of done is that they sort of explained the premise of the movie 90 times, and then they explained it again in the middle, like another 90 times, and then the movie ended again, like, 6 different times. So it is sort of like you could hop in and out at any 2 points and basically understand.
This is that movie, I don't know, tell me if your parents did this, where if you're watching something, you have your primary watch that you're watching, and then when commercials would come on, because you're still watching cable back in the day, they would flip to something else.
Oh, yes,
for
of
the
course.
Commercials. This is what you flip to.
Yes, yes. When you're watching Survivor and it's on, like, the next channel during the
this is your B channel.
Absolutely.
Movie. Yeah,
I feel that. So I had also never seen this before, but I had known about a lot of, like, key moments.
Yeah. The good kills.
Which I don't know if I had assumed they would all be in this first one.
Sure.
But some of them I was like, damn, they really saved that for a sequel. Like the
logs.
The logs, very iconic.
Classic. I think that's the second one. I
actually went through and I watched some YouTube videos of people, like, ranking all the deaths just so I could see some of the death scenes from the later movies. And, like, they really did hold some punches for later, because there are some deaths in this first one that I'm like, damn, that's a Rube Goldberg-ass death. How are they going to get more funny than that? And they kind of do. They kind of go there.
The tanning bed one is iconic.
Yes.
That one is the one that I remember seeing very first.
Right. It was the windshield, the log through the windshield, the tanning bed, and the acupuncture. Falling off the acupuncture table with all the needles. Does that not happen to somebody?
I don't. I'm sure it does. I don't think I ever saw that one, though.
But those are the ones, like, often described to me. But I felt really similarly about these movies that I did about the Saw franchise.
I never saw it.
Yeah, is that I'm more just actually interested in people doing, like, online internet commentary about, like, how I would beat the Saw trap. Like, that I get, like, how I would outsmart the Final Destination death. Like, that's actually the content that I'm looking for.
Well, I feel like for us, we just grew up, we were, I think, a little too far past these, because this was, what, 2000s? We were born in, like, 98, 99.
Yeah, we're too young.
Yeah, too young for this. But we were not too young for 1,000 Ways to Die.
Oh.
Did you watch 1,000 Ways to Die as a kid?
I didn't like that it was real. I didn't like that some
Well,
of
it's
that...
not real. You know what I mean?
Well, yes. But the stories were rooted in truth, whereas this is entirely fiction. This is a movie.
Do you think any of that was actually rooted in truth?
It could have been. I don't know.
I think everyone remembers their deaths from these ones, like what ones you saw and like changed you and everything like that. I remember some of the deaths from those that it was like, oh, someone got like speared by a javelin, or like the one that stuck with me is the lady that got a boob job and then went on a flight and her boobs exploded. Yeah.
Because it was 2003.
Of course.
Yeah, no, I generally avoided that. Wasn't there one about like dying during sex? Like sex sent me to the ER?
Yes.
I think I was watching that one.
That sounds more like you anyways.
Yeah, unfortunately, where they're like, oh, like I lost a Buzz Lightyear toy up in my uterus and now it's continuing to travel upwards.
Oh, did you love the show like Untold Stories of the ER? I'm sure.
I actually, medical stuff really freaked me out as a kid. And even as a teenager, up until like my college years, I think a lot of medical stuff really like freaked me out and gave me the heebie-jeebies. And now I really like it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I remember watching like Untold Stories of the ER a lot as a kid, and that's because my mom is a nurse, so she'd throw it on or whatever. But like bugs in ears and things like that.
Oh, I was more into I liked that it was like a more toned down version, and it was My Strange Obsession, which like oftentimes would end in something kind of medical, because they were like, I'm eating a couch. Yeah. I'm eating the tires on my car. Yeah,
the asbestos.
I'm really into huffing asbestos, and like, so of course something medical would roundabout happen, but I was more interested in those because those were like more like human interest stories
like
about
fucked
like
up psychology,
like a man who really wants to fuck his car.
Sure,
like that's more interesting to me than just like somebody who got something lost inside their body.
Sure.
You know.
Fair enough.
But I also like have clinical anxiety, so I'm not trying to think about injury and death that much. And this movie also, I was kind of like, this is me for real, for real. I like see a glimmer.
This is the movie that's gonna make you schizophrenic.
No, for real. I was like, this is not just us immediately talking about problematic use of mental health language in our psycho episode, and me being like, this is straight up how schizophrenic people seem. Because for real, sometimes I feel borderline this way, because I'll see something out of the glimmer of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, that's a premonition that I'm about to be hit by a train. And now I have 30 seconds to solve the puzzle of death's design. I need to crack the code so I don't get hit by this train. Like, really, every time they spoke. But I was like,
it's like you missed your meds like one too many days this week, and now you're like, whoa.
No, but for real, the way that when he was like, that plane is gonna blow up, and then it does, and I'm like, he must feel like really vindicated right now that nobody fucking believes him. I'm like, this is how like schizophrenic people must believe when like something actually works out the way they tell everyone, right? But I was like, honestly, I'm kind of here for Alex, because I'm like, you were right. His ass
you were
was
absolutely
correct.
right. Yeah.
And sometimes I relate to that. I think where this movie kind of got it right is that gut feeling you have sometimes. He was like, I just had a gut feeling that the plane was going to crash. I'm like, but it did crash, and now he wasn't even being held for terrorism questioning.
Truly.
This movie
insane.
is so pre 9/11. It's insane.
Absolutely. No, they would be water torturing him.
He would not have been allowed to go home.
No.
I could not believe that the events of this movie were even able to unfold, because those two FBI agents just let him go home.
They're like, we can't hold him on anything, so there you go, bud.
I guess.
And then he starts creeping around other people's houses.
And then he proceeds to act more like a terrorist than anyone has ever acted before. Right? He's like, the FBI are on my ass.
This is it. You know who he's acting like? He's acting like, what's her name? Like, fucking Jamie Lee Curtis's mom in Psycho.
Oh!
Literally being the most conspicuous you could ever be in your entire life.
Janet Leigh.
Yes, Janet Leigh. Thank you.
Yeah, the spirit of Janet Leigh in Psycho was then put into Devon Sawa in the film fucking Final Destination, where he's like, I am as suspicious as can be.
Uh-huh.
And I guess that's a character choice. I guess to start from the beginning of this movie, our main character, Alex, I wanted to sort of ask you your thoughts about him. So Mr. Devon Sawa, that's the actor's name, but he's playing this character named Alex, who basically is this high school student going on a class field trip to France. He gets on a plane, normal high school plane antics of, the girls want to switch seats and whatever. They do all that, and then he's like, I had a dream. He fully dreams the events of the plane crashing.
Yeah,
he wakes
while
up,
he's like sitting there waiting for the plane to board.
He wakes up and he's like, holy fuck, I gotta get out of here. He gets out, a couple of stragglers.
He like freaks out.
Follow him off the plane, then the plane takes off and proceeds to crash as he expected. And so he sort of has the sight, the vision.
Of course, yes.
The initial vision of the thing happening, right? But this character, I was trying to understand, like, who he's supposed to be.
I don't know. Like, he's...
Because he wasn't, like, so he has his friend Todd.
Sure.
He has his best friend Todd, and he seems to have this beef with this guy named Carter, who also ends up being in the group. Him and Carter are beefing for what reason? What? Just because Alex...
Carter's just got so much testosterone that it's gotta go somewhere.
Carter, like, has slicked back greaser hair, and so that means he's cool?
He looks like, what's his name from Twin Peaks?
Oh, yeah, Billy.
Billy, yeah.
And yeah, he, like, has a blonde girlfriend,
of course,
like, therefore he just gets to be a dick to people.
Yeah, as one does.
I guess, but, like, him and Alex are beefing. Do we ever learn the source of the beef? No, they just don't like each other.
No, and... Alex, he's hard to place. He, like, doesn't seem like he's the kind of guy that does anything in high school.
Yeah, he's hard to place and he's hard to root for. Because I'm like, what's your fucking deal, bro?
I'm like, do you play the piano?
Do you have a hobby?
What do you do?
Do you have a hobby?
Are you on the lacrosse team? Are you secretly, like, really good at, like, tennis or something like that, you know?
For a second, I thought he was trying to play it up kind of jockey. You know, like, more.
Sure.
I don't know. But then he talks to his friend Todd, and I was like, the two of you are gay lovers.
Yeah.
Todd and Alex have such palpable chemistry between the two of them that I could not believe. I was, like, watching this with my husband, and I was like, oh, they're gay, right? I was like, they're supposed to be... I was like, this movie came out in 2000. That's kind of brave of them.
Yeah, right?
For putting this gay couple. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I think that they're just bros. He's like, I think that they're just bros who have
the
affection
line is
for
very
each other.
thin.
I'm not calling them gay just because they took a group poop. I will clear the air on that right now. I think you can platonically group poop with your boys.
Yeah.
And that's not gay.
No.
That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying that...
Let me clear the air on the group poop.
Yeah, the group pooping is not sexual. It's not romantic. It's a platonic male bonding thing.
Yeah.
I've witnessed the group poop, and
I've witnessed
it's a bro time thing. Honestly, like, I get a little sad that I'm not invited, but I'm like, that's not for me.
I would never group poop. I'm good. I don't think so. I mean, like, I don't get me wrong. Every girl's, like, group peed.
Well, yes.
But that I can't, I don't know that I've got the group poop in me.
That's true. The drunk girl at the bar visit to the bathroom all together where we all shove into the same stall is the same as the male group poop. Yeah.
Like,
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. 3 people, like, peeing. Yeah, not a single flush. Yeah.
Right. But that's
Someone's like, can you look at this mole on my inner thigh?
Yeah, yes, that part.
Do I have cancer? I don't know.
Girl, what did you eat earlier today? Let me tell you what I ate earlier today. Oh my god, I've recently been going through it with my lower intestinal GI tract, and I'm like, girl, what is wrong? And then I think, and I'm like, oh, you've had quiche every meal for the past like week. I made 2 quiches.
Nice.
And then I've just been eating quiche for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That'll do it.
And I was like, yeah, that's all heavy cream and egg yolks. Not even egg whites. I just used the yolks. Something's fucked up. Of course you feel like shit, girl.
Yeah.
What the hell? But I thought Alex and Todd seemed a little... There's a little something there between them for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I struggled to try to figure out Alex because I never really was rooting for him or cared whether
he's a nothing character.
Where he lived or died. And like that actor's performance I also found to just be incredibly underwhelming. Like, he just kind of had his mouth open a lot.
Yes, I noticed that.
There's a lot of mouth breathing going on in these movies as, like, replacement for, like, shock. Or, like, just a lot of heavy mouth breathing.
Which I think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think he sticks in it for, like, a lot of the series.
I believe he dies.
He dies in, like, the second one, right?
He dies off camera in between movies 1 and 2,
Are you serious?
I believe that is the case. If my YouTube videos that I've watched are correct, that he dies between movies 1 and 2, and they say it's because a brick falls on his head.
Wow.
And he sort of dies off camera, and then they're allowed to sort of explore the lore more with our character, Clear Rivers, who I also wanted to ask you about. Really interesting character decisions being made in this movie, because Alex is our protagonist, and then we have his best friend Todd, Carter, who he's beefing with, Carter's girlfriend Terry, their teacher, Miss Luton. These are the people who survived the plane crash, right? That they all get off the plane and are not allowed back on before it explodes, and then the plot of the movie is that Death, quote-unquote Death, has this design, and they should have been on that plane, and now Death is hunting after them because they escaped Death's, design, or what have you.
Sure.
But so it's their teacher, and then it's Alex, Todd, Carter, Terry, and then these two other kids, Billy, who just was like some sort of troublemaker who boarded the plane late for some reason, and then just sort of got shuffled back off for some reason. He's the guy who's like not Ashton Kutcher. He's like Ashton Kutcher's sidekick in all those fucking dude movies from the early 2000s. So we have Billy, but then we also have Clear Rivers, who I thought her name was Claire.
I thought so too.
I thought her name was Claire until I looked up the IMDb. And no, it's Clear. Her name is Clear.
Yep.
Clear Rivers.
Indeed, yep.
And she's so confusing to me because she's like kind of cool and goth, and she's got these awful bangs.
So you know she's cool.
And so and she's like constantly like reading a book and sort of like mumbling to herself. Like we would have been friends. Like I really relate to her in that way.
You feel like she might have lice, but like
she's also kind of a pick me, the way where she's like reading a book while she's walking through the hallways, and you're like, girl, I know you cannot be retaining that. Like just get your ass to math. Stop being that way.
Don't be that guy.
But she kind of grows on me when we learn that she like welds. We learn that she like welds sculpture as a hobby, which I find to be really cool. And she like has this kind of cool demeanor.
Even though her sculptures are dog shit.
Her sculptures are ass, but she's in high school. Cut her some slack.
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough.
She's learning a trade.
Fair enough.
Let her grow. Let her cook. Let Miss Clear cook.
Clear.
But the thing that kind of confused me about her were two major events in which, when the movie decides to end for the third time, and time passes, we get a big time jump.
Yes.
Where she has evaded death and they all go to Paris just so that they can then kill Carter off with a billboard.
Of course. Well, she grows out her bangs.
Well, her bangs have grown to show that time has passed, but she just like isn't goth anymore.
Oh no, blonde.
Or like alt.
She goes blonde.
She's like fully prep. I'm like, what happened? Why are you in Lacoste?
I know.
I hated it. That I did not care for. And also, there was just this turning point in the movie, specifically when they're on, after she's been saved. So Alex kind of cracks the code that if you can read the signs, you can save someone from death before it's too easy, because you can read the signs and sort of see how it's going to go. He's like, I can take a...
Giving major schizophrenia.
He's like,
sorry.
I can take a blow to the chest from an exploding car because I'm not next on the list.
Yeah.
And I saw a reflection out of the corner of my eye that insinuated that this is going to work out. So there are spark plugs and loose oil around this car. And he's just like, don't worry, Clear, get out. And she gets out, and then the car just explodes, but he's fine.
Well, because he grabbed the plug, it was a whole thing.
But because he solved the puzzle. But then after that...
He just doesn't seem that smart to me, though.
But then after that, Miss Clear refers to our protagonist, Alex, as baby only for the rest of the movie. When did they get together? Did I miss something?
No. It's kind of just built in.
Oh, baby.
Like, you have to... Okay, because this
They're trauma bonding.
Well, yes. It is also still set in high school, so, like, you only need maybe one thing in common with another person to qualify as having a relationship with them.
You both almost died a couple of times now, actually.
Yeah, so they're together forever.
You're going to be together for life.
Yeah, she's pregnant with his child.
Right, but I just, like, didn't understand. I was like, fully did I miss something? And
Oh, no, you just had to... just suspend your disbelief.
Because this movie is, we're going to say the theme of the movie out loud in the dialogue as many times as possible. To the point where they're like, in case you just have been asleep this whole time, the Candyman is going to show up as a mortician who is the embodiment of death. And he's just going to, as by the books, explain the rules of this system, the lore. Hard lore drop from the Candyman, right in the smack dab middle of the movie.
Of course.
This is the design. I'm explaining to you the rules of the system. This is how it works, right?
Yeah.
And moving on, which, if you're going to say everything that opaquely, that's fine. But, like, explain to me why these teenagers like each other.
Yeah.
Explain, be like, oh, like, have them kiss in a moment of passion or something. I mean, I don't need more of it. I actually need less of it. But I'm like, can you at least explain to me, like, what was the reason? I get that they're a boy and a girl together a lot, so of course they're gonna fall in love. Like, that's just the year 2000 for you. But I was like, come on. One line of dialogue. You're gonna explain to me how the mechanics of Death's plane mechanism, saw trap work, but you're not going to tell me that these two kids, like, decided, like,
together.
Oh, hey, this is kind of
like,
stressful.
we're boyfriend, girlfriend
This
now.
is kind of stressful. I think you're really cute. Oh, I think you're cute, too. Let's fight death together. Okay, that's all I needed.
Yeah, truly.
Right? Like, I'm scared. No, I'm scared. Let's hold hands. Like, that's it. That's all. She was like, baby,
I'm
come
not asking
here.
for a lot, yeah.
Baby, come here.
I will tell you what, I would fuck the Candyman. Right?
Oh, hot. I was worried about the fuck, marry, kill portion of this podcast until the Candyman came on and as a sexy little mortician outfit. Yes.
Marrying, maybe.
Well,
At least fucking.
Oh, and that deep voice, and he just, like, he just delivers that fucking monologue like it's nothing.
Like, okay, creepy ass.
That's why I was like,
you.
I don't mind the obtuse explaining of the plot when it's done like this. I was like, I didn't care so much.
Because here's the thing. Is obviously these movies are bad, but I find these movies very comforting because I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to die.
Yes.
It's going to be camp and cunt and stupid as all fuck. And that's all I need.
Yeah, I do appreciate how the filmmaking and the storytelling decisively puts a character in an environment and you as the audience know that they're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
By the end of this scene, by nook or by crook, this character will be perished, right?
And I'll tell you what, they made sure you knew that with the teacher.
Yes, well, so it was that scene specifically, that kind of, like, tension building and anxiety where you know she's gonna die and she's having a nice little relaxing evening in a home.
Trying her best.
And everything she does, you're like, oh! No, don't touch that. Because it started with Todd, and he's in the bathroom. He's gonna die in the bathroom. Tragic.
Well, yes, the water that is slowly creeping up on him.
Right.
It's just so ridiculous, dude. It's amazing.
But he's like tweezing. He's like tweezing his nostril at some point. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna slip. And he's gonna lobotomize himself with some tweezers. Like, every single thing that they pick up, you think, how is this gonna do it? Which is really fun, but I don't think that that's a filmmaking innovation that wasn't already created, standardized, and perfected by the movie Scream.
Oh, yeah.
In the movie Scream, it's the same thing, but it just, like, is intriguing because I actually care about the characters and their motivations. Whereas in this
it is more interesting because it is being executed by a person.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it is just sort of like Rube Goldberg torture porn. Where it's like, how.
Oh my
I did
God.
love it. The teacher's death scene, really good.
Oh, that poor woman.
Oh my God.
She got her ass.
She pours the coffee into the computer, which then starts the electrical fire, which then, it's like that episode of Community, have you seen, where they have to roll the dice to see who gets the pizza?
Sure.
And it basically then splits into each alternate universe in which each person has to be the person to go get the pizza, and one of them is this really iconic scene where the person, I think it's Childish Gambino.
Yeah, Donald Glover.
Donald Glover comes back and he's got the pizza and the whole apartment is on fire and everyone's like rolling around on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened to Miss Luton.
Oh, exactly. Oh my, the poor lady just like, she got knives stuck into her just right at the very end.
That part, the knives falling off the counter. Every time I'm cooking in the kitchen with a knife, I imagine that I'm gonna turn around with it.
And your husband's right behind you.
And my husband is right behind me and I just impale him in the chest, even though I'm like, I'm not even holding the knife.
Real Ex Machina style too, where it just
like
slides right in like butter.
I don't use the nice knives in the house. I'm like, Henry's not even home and I'm worried about accidentally stabbing him. Like,
Yeah, you have your headphones on and didn't realize he came home.
Right, and it's staying right behind me, isn't he? Like...
No, I mean, like, no one's turning this on to watch it as a serious movie.
Yes.
And if you are...
Good for you. I mean... There's... Yeah, you maybe should go to therapy then. Like,
there's other movies.
If you love Rube Goldberg torture porn that much that you love the Final Destination movies, then I think you need to go to therapy.
Probably.
You have an anxiety disorder. I'll tell you that right now. No, I know. No, it was really campy though, and I wasn't expecting it to be quite so like tongue in cheek. Like we're gonna show exactly the thing that kills them before they kill it, and so you're totally anticipating it, which removes a lot of that like actual scariness from it, and does make it just sort of more fun. It's more of just a fun movie to watch. Like he's fully hanging himself, getting hung by a shower wire. And
the drain.
You're like, this is kind of silly, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You're like, this one's kind of goofy.
It's too soapy for him to like get any grip under his feet, and it's ridiculous.
Right.
I do want to know what the writer or director of this, where they were coming from a little bit. Like, do you think they meant to make it as campy and stupid as they did? Or do you think that, like, this was intended to be, like, genuinely, like, something of a scary movie? Because it's not scary.
Yeah, camp must have been the intention. And more the exploring of the absurd, of, like, what's the most absurd and kind of silly, stupid, roundabout way that somebody could get stabbed in the chest. I think that is worth exploring, and is an interesting, fun thing that this movie did, but I don't think it's trying to be genuinely. I don't know, I'd have to look into the director. I looked at the other stuff that he has done, and I didn't really know.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It just felt like this was a movie that you write after, like, you do mushrooms for the first time and, like, realize your mortality or something like that.
So to put a little bit of perspective into this for you, I do believe that this movie was originally written as a speculative script as an episode of The X-Files. So it was only supposed to be an episode of a TV show.
That makes so much sense.
And I think it's based off of like a short story or something, which doesn't involve high school kids at all, but it was about like a plane crash and a premonition and then defeating death and that whole sort of thing. But it was more of like a TV sort of, like a serial episodical monster of the week sort of TV show like X-Files, where we introduce the problem at the beginning of the episode and you as a viewer know that it will be for the most part resolved.
It's giving Buffy.
By the end, and this is the thing, and it's like, oh, we gotta beat the evil plane demon, right? The death that is following us after we survive the plane crash. That makes a lot of sense. Does it work for a whole movie franchise? Well, God, they really tried their best with it.
I mean, there's how many? At least 5.
There's 5, I believe.
Yeah.
6th one in production? Who's to say? I don't know. I don't. They always say that. They're always like, oh, there's a Princess Diaries 2. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure there's 100 scripts of Princess Diaries 2.
There is a Princess Diaries 3 in the works currently.
But Chris Pine doesn't know a thing about it. Therefore, I don't want to know a thing about it. He was questioned. He said, I haven't heard anything.
Really?
So I don't want to know if he's not in it. Well, I mean, I'll still go see. My ass will still be sad.
I'll be there.
What deaths in this movie do you think are objectively less bad than just dying in the plane crash to begin with? Like, I think that
hit by the bus, maybe.
Hit by the bus is better than a plane crash.
Better than a plane crash. I would have rather have that.
Yep.
I wouldn't have wanted to hang like that. That's scary.
The wire, nope. Because the plane crash you have to assume would be somewhat, it's very scary leading up to it.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna get, like, crushed by a fucking engine, you're going fast.
Yeah.
You must be, or sucked out of the side of an airplane.
Yeah. The teacher got it way worse.
The teacher way, way worse. I'm like, oh, I would have just preferred to die in the plane crash.
hanging in the tub.
You know who got it kind of made?
Who?
And I actually would like this to be the way I go. Is Billy decapitated with the shrapnel from the train.
Yep.
So fucking Carter.
He thought he lived. He was good.
He thought, and I was like, bro, why are you standing so close to those train tracks right now? That's the other thing, is I'm like, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. My ass would have been running in the other
I'm miles
direction.
down the road by now.
Right, but him, I was like, oh, new fear unlocked.
Yep.
Because the shrapnel that is on the train tracks gets jostled by the incoming train and deployed deployed out of the side and just directly on the trajectory to decapitate this man.
Yeah.
Instantaneous. That's great. That's like better than being taken out by a professional hitman.
Yeah.
Instant decapitation.
Yeah, do you think the instant decapitation or the hit by the bus is the best?
Instant decapitation. If it goes the way it went for him, and he his whole head
right off,
clean taken off.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you're right.
That, I think, there's almost no suffering to that, I don't think. I think you stay conscious for like a half a second, and then it's just over.
And then you're done. Yeah, your head's off your body, dog.
Right? Whereas being hit by a bus, if the decapitation got mangled, I would say a piece of shrapnel in the neck that doesn't do it clean
and you're
off,
just bleeding out for 45 minutes.
awful.
Yeah, horrible.
Actually awful. Worse than
hit by the
grab.
bus, like, you feel all of your bones break, and there's probably a couple of minutes while you're still hanging on to that. But I think you're right.
Mostly instantaneous.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think the instant decapitation is probably the way to do it.
Yeah, the best one. Because, so, the only people who are alive at the end of this are Alex, who we then learn dies before the second movie even starts, and Clear Rivers.
Yeah.
They live, but Carter gets crushed by a billboard in Paris at the very end.
Yeah, very
kind of lame.
Second.
Honestly, I'm like, this is how you're going to end the movie?
Yeah, pretty ass.
With one of the most anticlimactic deaths. I'm like, okay, a billboard fell on him. I don't really care. Like, let's do something a little more fun. The shower wire, not my favorite.
No.
The teacher death, pretty iconic, but I would not...
It was a lot.
I would not ask that fate.
No, I certainly
That's how I feel in most situations, that I'm like, I've been stabbed, and I'm on fire, and I'm bleeding out, and I'm like stumbling through my kitchen just trying to find something, just anything. Like, that's me in most of the time, is how I feel. Final destination, more like final decision. Make a decision. That's the premise of this game. Jen, she's my mother. She's here to host her interim podcast segment, Chocolate or Vanilla. She says two things, and we all just say which one we like better. It's a hoot, it's a holler, it's a great time. Jen, how are you? And is there a theme this week?
I am pretty good, and there is no theme.
Hell yeah, no theme. Much like death herself, fickle and unpredictable, there will be no theme this week.
So, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry.
Chocolate.
I'll stick vanilla.
Yeah, I'm going to go strawberry. Putting your socks on before your pants or putting your socks on after your pants?
I put my socks on before my pants, typically, because I wear long socks.
Yep.
So I want the socks to go up and then the pants so that you don't have to, like...
That's the right way to do it.
Yeah, weirdly wiggle your arm up in there.
Yeah, agreed with Dara.
I also wear, like, combat boots most days, so I'm wearing, like, lace-up boots, so I want my socks to be, like, positioned correctly, because then if the sock is, like, folded or something...
You're just done.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, so true. I saw this one on the tip jar at the coffee house, and I was like, who puts their pants on before their socks? I feel like there's
I will on
only
occasion.
If I'm like barefoot around the house, and for some reason I like have pants on, but then I choose to then leave the house. But if I'm like getting dressed for the express purpose of exiting the house, the socks are going on first.
Yeah, good point. Next one, regular fries, sweet potato fries.
Regular fries. Sweet potatoes great, but I think that they can be good or bad. Yeah. Like there's a pretty low ceiling. You can have a bad, soggy sweet potato fry. I don't always put full faith and trust that when I order a sweet potato fry, it's going to be good. I feel the same way about a regular fry, but there's much more of a bandwidth or like a width of possibilities with the fry. Whereas the sweet potato fry, who's to say? You know, it's a risk.
See, it's tough because I myself make a good sweet potato fry, but I don't trust other people's sweet potato fry. So I guess I am encountering more the regular fry in my day-to-day life, and I would prefer, I think, that to be better.
I would also say regular fries. I think it goes with more. You make your own fries? Do you have one of those things that, like, cuts them for you?
No, I'll cut them myself, but I'll do them in the air fryer, and it's nice and, pretty good.
Wordle or Connections?
Ooh. I mean, Wordle is classic, but Connections does give me that spark of serotonin that I typically do need In much like how I imagine Alex felt when the plane actually did explode, is how I feel when I get, what's the hardest one on Connections? Is it purple?
Something like that.
When you get the hardest one first, and you're like, my brain, I'm seeing the full picture, I'm picking up the clues, I'm extracting the information, and I got it correct. And that doesn't happen to me a lot, but when I get it, I'm like, oh, I'm locked in today.
There's a lot of days where I don't get the connection, so when I do get it, I'm pretty stoked about it. I'll get the Wordle most days, though, so I'm going to say the Connections.
Yeah, I'm with you. I will say Wordle, but yes, I get the Wordle most days. Until this very moment, though, I did not know the difficulty was color-coded.
Yeah, you know how the different things in Wordle are like, there's like the yellow, the blue, the whatever. It's like difficulty, right? Each color is associated with a different difficulty.
Yeah, I'm probably 50-50 on getting the Connections, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Well, because some days I'm like, I just want to sit down and talk. I'm like, who made this? I'm like, I just want you to walk me through your thought process and how you thought me as a player was going to navigate this, because sometimes they're throwing too many red herrings in there that I'm like, there's no way you thought that I wasn't gonna fumble on this. Like, you're setting me up.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They love to fake you out.
Next one. Stemmed wine glass or stemless wine glass?
Stemless. I always go stemless. I'm clumsy. I drop things a lot. And I just think a stemmed wine glass is a disaster waiting to happen for me.
I like the functionality of a stemless a lot better, and I like it for storage purposes, but I do feel fancier and a little cuntier with a stemmed wine glass, so I'm gonna go stemmed because I want to be that girl, even though I'm not her yet.
Yeah, I pick stemmed every time over stemless. I don't know why. Like the way it like feels in your hand kind of thing. Yeah. Next one, the 3 versions of Snickers, regular, with almonds, or with pecans.
They make Snickers with pecans?
There's a new one out with pecans.
Oh, interesting.
Pecans, yeah.
I don't think you need to change things. I think a Snickers is fine the way it is. And when I want a Snickers, I want a Snickers. I don't want some weird alternative Snickers.
Snickers is mid to begin with.
That is true.
I'm like, yeah, why would you change it up? I'm just gonna go for the regular.
To me, Snickers is the utilitarian candy bar. It is what you eat when you want to pretend that you're eating a granola bar. When you're like, I need some sustenance.
Yeah.
I need a calorie. I need a Snickers.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I will agree and go with the OG. But I had one of the pecan ones, and it was really good.
I believe that. I think that does sound good.
You don't like Snickers? What's your go-to candy bar if it's not a Snickers?
Honestly, love 100 grand.
I love 100 grand.
Yeah.
Right now, I think I said this one of the previous weeks, but I believe currently the best candy mixed bag you can get on the market for giving out to trick-or-treaters is the one that comes with 100 grand, Butterfinger, Baby Ruth, and Crunch Bars.
Yeah.
It's those 4. It's like from Nabisco or whatever country.
It's the best one.
Whatever company makes all those different ones. And it's just the best. Crunch Bars are fine. Baby Ruths are kind of ass, but Butterfinger, S tier. 100 grand, S tier.
Yeah, agreed.
Next one, Dunkaroos or Oreo Cakesters?
Oh, 2 classics. Both are bad now. Both are bad. I don't know if it's my nostalgia glasses are gone or whatever, but both as
not good.
Present day, you can get a Cakester and a Dunkaroo.
It's not the same
from the grocery store, and they're not the same as they were, and they are bad now. Yeah. I would not eat either of them today unless forced upon me. However, I will say back in the day, the OG Dunkaroos saved me from the edge. Yeah. When that was in my lunchbox, I knew it was going to be a good day. A Dunkaroo saved it. A Cakester also very good, but the Dunkaroo was really doing it for me. I also like an interactive snack. I like to dip. I like to touch, tactile.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go Dunkaroo on this one as well. Cakester was never really my my go-to. It's fine.
I will also say Dunkaroos. Nice. I was the kind of mom that making Dara's lunch meant throwing the Crustable in, throwing the Dunkaroos in, throwing just packages of things into the lunchbox, never actually making anything.
Yeah, you're not making a bento box for the kids. Yeah,
no. Next one. Thin crust pizza or thick crust pizza?
Ooh, I like both. I don't discriminate, but I'll say a thin crust typically is the safer option. Because a thick crust pizza, that's like not good.
That can mean thick pizza, not just thick crust. It means a thick
pizza.
dough.
I like
Really?
I like it to be, I guess I'll say thin across the board, crunchy. That's what I want from a pizza, but like a really well done, like almost like a focaccia bread as the base of the pizza. Oh, so good. But I'll go thin crust, just that's safer.
I am a thin crust purist at my heart. I love a thin crust pizza every day, all the time.
Yeah, that's because you went to school in Connecticut where the thin crust is the best in the world.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I am one of those guys that I do believe that New Haven has better pizza than New York. And you know what? You can disagree with me if you want, but if you haven't been to New Haven, you just don't get it.
You don't do the clams though, right?
No.
Okay.
Not for me. That's
people from Connecticut put clams on their pizza.
It's a little too much.
That shit is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go thin crust, but I would not turn down a thick crust. Next one, burritos or tacos?
Burritos. I typically find when I'm buying food that the burrito is more bang for your buck as far as cost, right? You typically get more meat and filling for less money, pound for pound, with the burrito option than you do with a taco.
That's absolutely true. I am not a burritos girl, though. I love to be able to craft my bite, and all of that is taken away from me once it's wrapped up in a big tortilla.
That's true.
And I don't like that.
And a poorly rolled burrito, sad. When you're like, all the sour cream is just in the first bite.
Yeah, no.
Sad.
Then what the fuck do I have to look forward to after that? I might as well just throw it away.
Exactly.
So I'm a tacos girl. That is for sure.
I will go tacos too, although same, I would not turn down either of these. But I think as far as crafting your own bite, you probably would have picked fajita then, right? Because that you really can assemble it exactly how you want it.
Well, the fajita though, I don't love too much.
The fajitas, I like a lot of raw toppings as opposed to like the cooked toppings, and I don't love the fajita.
So you want a taco bar? That's what
I want a taco. I want a taco or a bowl, and that's it.
Yeah.
The fajitas is what you order when you are looking really cute and you want everyone at the restaurant to look at you while you order. That's what if you're at a table at a Mexican restaurant with my ass and you order fajitas, I'm going to start loudly saying, "Oh, so you want everyone to look at you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're feeling really cute today. Oh, you ordered the fajitas. You want to be a bit of a spectacle.
All right, we can do that.
I'm going to call you out because that is the truth.
Yeah.
You want them to bring a sizzling plate of look at me to your table."
That bums me out because I do like fajitas, but I don't often feel cute when I'm at the Mexican restaurant. Next one, Halloween or Christmas?
Halloween.
I think I'm a Christmas girl, honestly. I think as I get older, it just ups a little bit every year, and I really enjoy Christmas, and I like the holidays, and I just find it so cozy.
And like food as an excuse to make and eat good food. That's typically more around the winter holidays than.
Yeah, I think I got to be Christmas on this one. Even it's not what I want.
Yeah, but
I want to be the Halloween girl, but it's my truth.
Yeah, I will go. I'll go Halloween because I do like them both.
I think that Halloween's a little more fun. There's less obligation tied to Halloween, where it's a little more about like just enjoying the revelry of all of us are going to agree to do something kind of stupid together. Yeah. Whereas Christmas is like deeply tied and like you need to get real and tell your family you love them right now. It's like, which is like, that's great and everything. But having that like emotional load attached to a holiday versus Halloween, I'm fucking free, bitch.
Yeah.
There's nothing holding me to any accountability.
Nobody even knows who I am.
Yeah, right, that part.
Next one is muffin or donut?
Donut.
Yeah, donut.
Higher sugar content, more bang for your buck. And I think if you're going to be doing a high carb, high calorie thing anyway, commit.
Exactly, yeah.
A muffin's bad for you, a donut's bad for you. Eat the donut. Yeah. It's just going to taste better.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
Yeah, I like a muffin. It feels more substantial to me than a donut. Sometimes one donut just isn't enough for me.
Fair enough.
So then you have two donuts.
Exactly.
Next one, chocolate chip cookies with nuts or without nuts?
Without nuts.
Yeah.
Keep it classic.
Yeah, I don't need nuts in that. It's good as it is.
As is the theme of this week, I wouldn't turn it down. I wouldn't turn down a cookie with nuts. But it is my preference to not have them.
Let's keep those in their own space.
Mm-hmm. With a white chocolate macadamia.
Yes, exactly.
Just make a different cookie then. Exactly. Just don't call it a chocolate chip cookie with nuts. Just make a different cookie.
Yeah.
Make like a toffee nut,
just anything
like something. I don't know.
Yeah, same. I would say no nuts. Hard eye emoji or laughing out loud crying emoji.
Laughing out loud crying is unfortunately a classic. Sometimes I overuse it and it makes me feel like old and
See,
dated.
I don't use it very much anymore because of it.
The laughing crying because you think it's cringe. I don't really ever do hard eyes though.
I'll do hard eyes every now and then. If you're being cutesy.
I like a really niche emoji that I will then choose to overuse. Like I really like the guy whose face is melting right now, like half melted emoji face.
I love him.
That's a very upside down smiley
classic
to sort of represent like it, like, you know,
fuck.
like indifference. Like I like that one. I love the salute. I do that to mean classic. Yes or like heard for everything. I like a more niche emoji selection personally, but I do hit with the laughing crying. It does capture something that no other emoji quite captures.
Yeah. I will go with the laugh out loud because I am old and I use that a lot.
I will usually pair the laughing crying with an actual crying in succession. So it's like I'm laughing, but I'm crying. Like I need to double down on the crying part of the laughing crying. So I'll do regular sobbing after to be like laughing crying, but I'm crying.
See, I use the skull one a lot.
To mean like I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Skull to me like laugh so hard I died. Yeah. Is actually I
or
would
like
say.
The ones that kind of look like they're screaming.
Yeah. Or just anything with its mouth open.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of. I try to generally shift to that to mean. But yeah, in succession, laughing, crying, then crying. That's probably 1,000 times in my phone.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite color heart?
Oh, blue. I'm always using the blue heart.
My friend Jess is blue. I'm purple.
Generally likes the purple. I use the green kind of.
My mom is green.
Actually. Yeah. And I also like the one with the two pinks that are little next to each other. Yeah. The two little pink, like up back to back.
Absolutely.
I like
me
that
too.
one. Let's see. I also, I really like as of late, they just added the emojis that are nodding or shaking their head. And they have these little motion lines around their head.
Oh, I like
that. And she's like looking down, but it's like she's nodding. It's just so weird. I think the graphic design concept of emojis is like, how can we convey the most complex emotion in the most like few lines as possible? This guy who's being shaken around, the guy he's sort of...
Oh, yeah, I love him.
He's got his mouth open and his eyebrows up, and he's got these lines around his head to sort of insinuate that his head is kind of being shaken around, like, ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. That's how I feel a lot of the time. Like, I'm shaken up. I also just do straight up puking a lot.
Yeah, that's
the guy throwing up, that's like, ew, don't say that to me.
Yeah.
I think I also make that noise in conversation a lot. Like a noise.
Yeah. No, I still use that little like purple like 8-bit guy.
Yeah,
I feel like him.
Yeah. Shouts out your favorite random deep cut emojis in the comments below. Also, if you use like not an iPhone and you're like whatever Google Pixel or whatever you use has like a weird emoji, if you could describe that to me so I could Google Android snail emoji, because sometimes the emojis on other phones that I don't have are so weird. I'm like, I would never think. I've been an iPhone against my will, locked into the iPhone brand at age 10, and unfortunately
will not be unsubscribing anytime soon.
Had to just, because the other options are just not better. I hate this fucking shit, but I'm like, what are my alternatives? Worse?
It's also shit. Yeah,
it's just as expensive and worse. But anyways, iPhone rant, emoji rant over. Jen, thank you so much for being here. We love you. Thank you for doing chocolate or vanilla, and we will see you next week.
All right, I love you guys. Have an awesome day.
Good night. Bye.
Bye, Jen.
And to finally destination to arrive at the final destination, which is death. If you like had a premonition of your own death, how seriously would you take it? How much do you believe yourself? Because this kid, he woke up from like a sweat dream. That happens to me like on a daily basis. Yeah, wake up from a spooky sweat dream, and you're like, oh, that was weird. To be like, that felt so real. I guess it is a feeling.
Not for a second. I wouldn't trust
I'm so
myself.
Delusional. Yeah.
I would not trust I would not trust myself for a second. My anxiety is already through the fucking roof. I would have just died in the plane crash. I'm too anxious and like nervous. I would have been too anxious to make a scene to get off the plane, and then I would have just once shit started going awry, I would have been like, yep, should have gotten off, and then I would have just burnt to a crisp.
Yup. Yeah, I don't have that kind of conviction.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, too awkward.
Yeah.
For sure. But I also could see how, like, if I had a dream like that, I'd be like, that's crazy. And I would, like, start to text someone. I'd be like, yo, like one of my friends. I'd
Yeah,
be like,
sure.
I'd be like, yo, I just had a crazy dream about getting decapitated. And then that would have happened to me. I would have been like, weird dream, weird sweat dream I just had.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
good on Alex for like really listening to
his body and his brain.
To his body.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna listen to my body, and I'm gonna fuck the police officer.
Oh, Shrek? Or the other one. The one with the little glasses. There was Agent Shrek.
Is that what his last name was?
I was obsessed. They were like Agent... It was like SCHRECK or whatever. It was like Shrek. But there was...
Whatever the hot one was. He was pretty hot, in my opinion.
I thought that they were both fine. There were two of them, and there was one who had little glasses on. He was more of like a nerdy type. And then there was the one where he was like, you give me the creeps or whatever.
Yeah, no, the Agent Shrek.
Agent Shrek, yeah. Yeah, kind of hot. I thought they were both kind of hot.
Yeah.
And they both were like FBI agents who were like not doing their jobs very well, which is...
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna fuck him, and then I'm gonna marry the morgue guy.
Yup.
And I'm gonna put, the teacher out of her misery.
Yeah, and kill her before she...
Yeah, I'm gonna kill Mrs. Luton.
Before she gets big-welled Rube Goldberg.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slip her something that's gonna just, make her fade into the distance,
Yeah, I'm gonna do the work of death for her.
Mm-hmm.
Which, my beef with this movie was death is the antagonist, right? Which
sure.
We do get a physical or a metaphorical, representation of death.
Of course.
The morgue guy, but
yeah,
it's this vague, death's design, death.
Yeah.
But then death also kind of appears as this like incorporeal, like weird mist on occasion, who seems to like can manipulate objects within the space to like knock things off counters,
the water and things.
Right? Which
yeah.
I think I almost liked it more when it was like fate.
Are you gonna fuck the idea of death?
I'm gonna fuck the idea of death. Well, just like when it like seeped all of the weird water out of the toilet to make Todd slip and then sucked it back in. I think that's cheating. Death. I think that's cheating. I think, girl, you can make the deaths happen by pure coincidence. You don't need to be manipulating the space like that. I just think as a storytelling mechanism, that kind of cheapened it for it. That kind of cheapened it for me because I was like, we already got, so it's like the idea of death and then we got the personification of it. I don't need to see like a weird CGI, like blurby mist, like not like,
knocking
the Rube Goldberg things into motion. Like that can happen off screen. I believe that these characters are going to die. You don't have to CGI convince me.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I will be fucking the concept of death, the weird incorporeal mist.
Of course.
No, I actually think I'm just gonna flat out agree with you on all your choices.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna fuck Shrek. I'm gonna marry Death, and I'm gonna kill that poor teacher.
Yeah.
Well, she was also hot. Would consider, but she does really just need to be taken out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she'd appreciate it more.
Also, this whole movie, I'm like, y'all are doing too much. I would have just killed myself.
Absolutely.
Like, this is,
survivor's guilt, I'm out in
that part. Well, Todd killed himself because he had survivor's guilt. I'm like, so true.
Yeah.
I'm like, honestly, there didn't need to be a weird incorporeal, liquidified version of death
Todd would have just killed himself.
Yeah, Todd probably would have just. But then, what are you gonna eat and drink at your little final destination party?
I'm gonna say that it's like, okay, this does also feel kind of like early 2000s. I think that you get yourself some like General Tso's chicken and rice and everything like that, but you make some shishito peppers, because they're fun to play this game with. Like 1 in 10 shishitos are hot and the rest of them are sweet. Ooh. So you go and you make some nice shishitos and do like a miso soy glaze on them. And then, you eat them with your friends and with your meal.
You do roulette.
It's basically roulette.
Shishito roulette.
Yeah, shishito or roulette. So I think you do that and you drink it's a light beer kind of movie. You said Heineken and that feels right.
Yeah, this is a Heineken-ass movie.
Yeah.
My answers were pretty lame. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a joy it is. Alka-Seltzer. There was like a weird Alka-Seltzer product placement moment where Alex and Clear are like talking on the phone and they're both
Alka-Seltzering it up.
They're like both having their Alka-Seltzer and I'm like, what are you, 60? Like, I'm like, oh, so is this...
Where are we?
This is the thing that insinuates that the two of you are going to be a great couple. Because they're both high schoolers who use Alka-Seltzer.
Sure.
Like, actually, that is the strongest through line of their relationship that I can see. But I thought it would be fun to, like, host a party and do, like, a last meal sort of thing. Nice. Everyone brings, like a fun little version of what their last meal would be.
Yeah, what your ideal.
But then I was thinking about it, and I think sort of the concept of a last meal is, like, I'm picking something that will do irreparable damage to my body because I know that I'm about to just, like, kick the bucket.
Sure.
So, like, I can have, like, 3 Vietnamese iced coffees and an Eggs Benedict and, like, just know. But, like, in real life, I don't want to eat my last meal because I'm going to feel like shit after. That's kind of the point. But I think statistically the most popular requested last meal is KFC.
Really?
So I think you can just get some KFC. Get some fried chicken.
Not bad.
Or you could find some famous last meals that aren't quite as gluttonous. There's like, like, you know, scrambled eggs or whatever. I don't know. But I think mine would be a really good Vietnamese iced coffee and Eggs Benedict. Like, done.
This is a morning movie for you.
Done up real nice. Well, that's like my last meal, though. You can eat that at any time.
Yeah,
you can eat that right before you die, actually. Do you have a last meal? If they're like, we're putting you down this afternoon, what do you want? We've got Jeremy Allen White in the kitchen in the back. He'll do it up real nice for you any way you want.
I've got a couple of things. I don't think I have anything like really definitive. Vietnamese iced coffee does sound really good.
Right before death, so I can shit myself so violently when they put me in the electric chair. The cleanup is going to be so horrendous. They're gonna wish they just kept me alive.
Yeah. No, I have a pasta salad from it's just so, I have it maybe like once or twice a year or something like that, and it's from like a friend's mom who makes it, and it's just one of those like really like home style, like would have to have it specifically from her.
I don't think you're allowed to request home style things.
No,
at
you're right.
The prison,
yeah,
at the complex.
That is certainly true.
Yeah, it is whatever chef.
Probably like a nice Five Guys kind of burger.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
something
classic.
like that.
I think actually using pasta salad as a component of your last meal is truly like a signifier of your brain being fully developed.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really mature and honest choice.
It's just like, and it's really easy. Like anyone could make it, but it's the tricolored like rotini or whatever.
Just like a Ken's Italian.
Yeah, a Ken's Italian, some feta, some cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, and like a couple of black olives. Toss that in.
Fuck a black olive.
I'm not. Those are the things that I eat around usually. But
also, fuck a pasta salad. I'm not mature. My brain isn't developed. I'm like, my last meal is going to be a whole cake that I get to eat with my hands.
Yeah.
Like, my last meal is specifically designed to make me shit so that the executioners have to clean it up.
I'll tell you what, I would have a creme brulee. That's definitely there.
That's nice. I wonder if there are stipulations. They're like, last meal. You, like, order a full spread, and they're like, okay, pick 3.
Yeah,
like, come on. They're like, you're getting greedy now.
I think they let you do a good amount. There's, like, guys on TikTok who, like, recreate every famous last meal and all that shit, and they'll do you a spread. So... yeah. And what are you watching after this? I'm gonna watch Scream.
I'm also gonna watch Scream. I wrote Scream. Yeah, I did just
I think you have to.
The whole time while watching this, I was like, damn, I wish I was watching Scream.
Yeah, I just wish I was watching Scream. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so. And I have no desire, unfortunately, to continue with my Final Destination journey. I don't think I can. I don't think I need to watch any of the other ones.
Well, I want something comforting still, which is Scream.
Yeah. Or it's just like this movie's Bones, but just more successful.
Exactly.
I find.
Exactly.
This was a good old shot, an interesting concept.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of fun, but I think that a YouTube compilation will suffice.
Absolutely.
For the Final Destination.
I'm gonna give it 4 stars. What about you?
I'm gonna give it 3. Yeah. I really did. I thought it was fine, and I was actually kind of glad that I watched it, but ultimately I was like, this could be one of those that I like watch a couple parts on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like a couple of snippets.
Don't need the whole thing.
And then we can move on. Yeah, I feel the same about Saw generally. Or a lot of these horror franchises that just never fucking end. Any horror franchise with more than 4 movies, I generally am writing out. I don't know, just there's only so much. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
And thank you all for listening. We're gonna continue with horror movies this month. Please show us your Halloween costumes as we are approaching that time. Let us know if you're dressing up as Monstro Alyssa Sue from The
Oh
Substance.
my god, please.
I'm going to keep saying that until someone does it.
I'd love to give a quick shout out for anyone that may be in the Boston area this coming week. The Boston Palestine Film Festival is going on in a couple of different places. I think they're showing some films at the Coolidge Corner. I think they're showing some films on different university locations, but they're also showing films at the MFA this weekend, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. If you're in the area, I would highly recommend going and seeing. There's some really important films, some really beautiful films, and just brought to you by an organization that really matters and is super important, not just right now, just in general, but go support first of all, your local film festivals, and support Palestine as well. Get out there and go see some foreign films. Check it out. I will be at a handful of screenings, so if you want to come say hi, please do. But yeah, just some important PSA for the locals.
Yeah, we're a Massachusetts-based podcast for the most part. That is where we both live. But I bet if you look into maybe your city, if you're from elsewhere, you could also see what sort of events are going on around at theaters and local stuff near you, or just how to support Palestine in general, because not that we have to tie everything to election season, but as we're approaching election season, certain feelings seem to be really heightened right now. So it'd be good to just get back to what is actually important and what's actually happening in the world rather than media drama conflama, because I find I've been seeing a lot of stuff online lately, a lot of propaganda media content that I'm like, oh, this just doesn't feel relevant to me. Why are we not actually talking about really important
the things
stuff?
that are important? Absolutely.
So, here on this podcast, we want to remind you that sometimes your local stuff is where it's actually happening, right?
Absolutely.
It's where cool stuff is and where you can find community and things that are actually, I don't know, rather than feeling, because I've been feeling on a macro level, awful. But then you can remember that on a micro level, you can look around your surroundings and find things to kind of glom a little hope onto. And be like, there are good spots of goodness in small places.
Yes.
So that's really important to remember.
Yeah, you gotta find hope where you can these days.
Yeah, so here at the Swamp, if you're in Massachusetts, check out some Palestine Film Festivals supported by the Museum of Fine Arts and other locations. But also, look into what your areas are doing as well, because I know we have listeners from all around, which is really cool.
Everywhere, yeah. Go to a march, donate what you can.
Yeah, support
Palestine.
Yeah, and support local artists. I know a lot of people have been making handmade products to try to support.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there are lots of things if you look. But thank you for listening. As always, we love you here at the Swamp. Links in the description below to all of the film festival things in Boston that Emily just mentioned, but also, our stuff, if you want to follow us, if you want to let us know what movies you would like us to cover in the future, please DM us, let us know. We love to hear from you. On Spotify, there's that little Q&A section. You can always drop anything in there, but especially a film suggestion. The Q&A says what movie do we want to talk about next or whatever, but you can put anything you want in there if you just want to say hi. That's cool too.
Yeah, say what's up.
Or TV shows, any media really. We love media suggestions of all sorts here on the Swamp, and themes. If there's something you want us to talk about in the future, let us know. We love y'all. Thank you for listening. Happy Halloween if you celebrate. Good luck getting your costumes together. Love that for you. And goodbye and good night.